Today, we're going to talk about when locals take matters into their own hands. Now, just to give you a bit of context so you can understand what we're talking about in this story, we're talking about a town called Bournemouth. Bournemouth is a town on the south coast of England, which was once well known for its nightlife, summer holidays for families, and where pensioners would always go to retire. That's why we used to call it God's waiting room. Then, in COVID came around and forced everyone to lock down for a common cold, places like Bournemouth really suffered. Now, Bournemouth, being a tourist destination, relies a lot on the hospitality sector. So we've got many hotels, restaurants, bars, all that jazz, which requires an influx of people to come enjoy themselves and spend their money. Yes, Bournemouth does benefit from having a few big offices from financial services, insurance companies, things of that nature. But when COVID came around and locked everyone down, well, people were at home. They weren't in the town centre, so all those office workers there was no footfall from them. Obviously, no tourists showed up because everyone was locked down. And then that time when all the tourists did flood to Bournemouth, when restrictions were lifted, well, as you can recall, nowhere was open, so they just came down and then left. Bournemouth's been in a bit of a nosedive, so a bit of a death spiral. So without the tourism, there's not any more money to be paying, into Bournemouth to keep it nice. Without keeping Bournemouth nice, there's less money, there's less tourists coming in. And then so on and so forth until you've got the shithole that we've got at the moment. Because of that, then, we seem to have an uptick in crime. Governments who obviously seem to want to do nothing about crime whatsoever. Obviously, the Tories gut the police forces and Labour will let anyone do whatever they want. So now we seem to have a stabbing almost every other day. Obviously, got quite a few drug problems. We've got a lot of crackheads in Bournemouth Gardens. Boscombe is now looking nice in comparison to Bournemouth, and if you don't know what Boscombe is, well, that used to be Bournemouth shithole. Now it's not Bournemouth shithole. So yeah, Bournemouth's not doing too well. Now, there was a antidote to the empty hotels. We managed to fill 3 hotels up with a lot of doctors and engineers who arrived illegally in the United Kingdom. They've come with their own problems. If you just do a web search, I'd say use AI so you actually get the answers, and just search Bournemouth asylum seeker crime, you're going to get quite a few results. So that's how the Bournemouth has been in the last few years. Not great. I should know. I live here. Now, most recently, there was a news story that was picked up by Nigel Farage that there was a camp located on the east cliff of Bournemouth. Now, for those who don't know, Bournemouth's got 2 cliffs, one of either side. There's a bit like a little valley in the middle where the gardens are. That's what we're talking about. Now, for those who don't realise, making camps on cliffs isn't really a normal thing to do. So this got picked up in the news and they're saying, oh, okay, yep, a bunch of asylum seekers have gone and made a camp. So some local people went to actually go find out about it. So what we're going to do, we're just going to play a video of what they actually found there and then what they actually did about it. Right, so as you can see from the video, a bunch of local people called Protect Our Postcode went in, cleared the place out, and as you can see, it wasn't that easy to get to, so they had to bring a wheelie bin in, clear out loads of rubbish. As you can see there was ladies' underwear, there was generators, tents, all sorts of lovely things. So they cleared it out, and then just to make it nice, they put a fence up, cleared the area, and then raised a cross because, well, this is a Christian country and it's quite nice to look at a nice cross. So that's what they went ahead and did. Now, as you can imagine, a lot of the response to this was positive. A lot of people saying, well done, unlike me, they actually got off their asses, went out and did something about it. A lot of other people were saying, oh, well, no, you can't do that. That's bad. And the reason they said it was bad is because A, they seem to think that asylum seekers can do whatever they want, camp wherever they want, be wherever they want. And B, well, they think, it should be the council's responsibility. It's the council's job. They should go ahead and do it. Just to quickly nip these two things in the bud, we actually have got a post from the group sort of showing what they actually found when they went there beforehand, just to kind of put a lot of things to bed.
So I've been drawn into making this video for the people that don't believe that what we did a couple of days ago is real. Apparently it's AI generated. It was there a couple of years ago. So yeah, this is the video just for the non-believers, and it's the last time I'm going to waste my time doing this sort of thing. And to be honest with you, the last time I'm going to be responding to those sort of comments online, but here it is.
Right, there you go then. So as you can see, there were tents, there was a generator, they had a wheelie bin, they had all sorts of crap which have been stolen from places or taken out of rubbish bins, who knows. Essentially, it was crap, a crap camp, all right? Now, the only thing to worry about is with these sort of pearl clutches online, because as you can hear from the person narrating the video, there's been a lot of comments saying, oh, it shouldn't be, it's not real, it's not right. The only people that are upset by this, well, there's two people. The first people that are upset are the pearl clutching Karens of society, white liberal women who are the number one source of all the problems in the UK. As soon as they started getting their nose into things started getting a bit worse. So the moment they said, okay, I've seen some comments on there, they're saying, just because they're black doesn't mean they're British. They're not British. Well, by definition, most people who are black aren't actually British. If you ask a sort of any black person in the United Kingdom, how long have you been in the United Kingdom for? The answers are, I'm the first of my generation, my parents came here, or it was my grandparents. Usually, you don't get any further than grandparents. And if we're just talking about sort of evolution and biology, it's sort of pretty obvious, a country, island, this far up in the hemispheres, you're not going to generally get black people. So that's the first thing to mention. The second thing as well is, okay, even if these people weren't asylum seekers and it just happened to be black people who were British hanging out on cliffs, setting up camps on cliffs isn't actually a normal British pastime. Yes, we like to go camping. Yes, we have campsites for that. They're usually sort of actually built, well maintained, and not on the side of cliffs. Now, but again, ignore those facts. Something else to consider as well is these people who are upset by this camp getting cleared. If these were gypsies on the cliff, they wouldn't bat an eyelid. They say, yep, good, I'm glad you guys cleared it out. Absolutely no problem. So that's something else. Another thing that a lot of people have been getting upset about is the cross that the group put in at the end. Now, I know I don't want to get into religion too much, even though, hey, got my crucifix. Britain is a Christian country, okay? It's been Christian for nearly 1,000 years, even more than that. Well, England's not in 1,000 years old, but never mind. A lot of our rules, customs, everything does derive from Christianity. So for someone to say, oh, putting a cross up, that's very KKK-ish, or that's very ethno-national, no, it's really not. this is a Christian country. A lot of people might want to say it's not. It is. We follow Christian sort of norms and rules here. People trying to subvert Christianity is usually sort of far left-wing communist people, and the only reason they sort of want to dislike Christianity is because they want to have the government or their sort of own ideologies above religion. Now remember, no one's bigger than God, all right? That's just a fact of it. But they want to be. So that's really got them really upset as well. And the other group of people who have gotten upset by this story, well, it's actually the local council. So I've just got a little article here from the Bournemouth Echo, local newspaper here. Let's get that nice and big for you. Group clear unauthorized camp near Bournemouth Beach. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole thing because a lot of it we've already covered, but the community action group called Protect Our Postcode spent an hour clearing the site, including an old, they said old tent. It was in use. It's not old as in not in use, so nah. A picnic table, barbecue, 3-seater sofa and a generator. And they said, yeah, a town relies heavily on tourism, and this camp deters people from coming here and spending their hard-earned money, which our local economy needs. Frank White, leader of Post Community, or the founder. Now, the local council and police have known about this camp for the past 2 to 3 years and have done nothing. Local residents know that this camp is there and it frightens them and stops them using the zigzag to get to and from the beach. We've got a lot of issues with, let's say, women walking around at night near the beach. So you can imagine that. Now, if I just skip right down to the bottom, this is what the council have said. BCP Council have condemned the clear-up operation, citing safety concerns due to the site's precarious cliffside location. Councillor Mike Cox, deputy leader of BCP Council, said, "We were in the process of clearing this complex and dangerous site and needed to make sure our teams could work safely. The cliffs are unpredictable. Landslips and wildfires could happen at any time, and anyone trespassing this area can put themselves at huge risk. We ask the public not to take matters into their own hands. We are assessing the location for damage and determine any action needed to make the cliffs safe. We continue to review the measures we have in place to prevent access to dangerous locations and are looking at how we can respond more swiftly and effectively to similar issues in future." 2 to 3 years, didn't do anything. Protect Our Postcode showed up, did it in an hour. We don't really have wildfires, but I've lived here for over 20 years. I honestly, correct me if I'm wrong, I actually don't remember any wildfires on the cliff. Ever. So that's stupid. Landslips, yeah, they do happen. Very rarely again. So yeah, I understand when they keep their workers safe, but this just doesn't hold water. But essentially, that's the story. So why have I sort of covered this today? Well, I love sitting here on my armchair and bitching and moaning about the world. I've recently started trolling the Bournemouth Facebook groups, and what I am finding more and more of, so many people have got their head up their arses that they're there just saying, "Oh, Bournemouth's amazing. Bournemouth, I remember Bournemouth 15 years ago. I'm sure it's just as great now." They don't ever go to the town centre. I work in the town centre. They don't ever go to it. They don't see the crackheads walking around and people daytime drinking. They don't see the asylum seekers sat there glaring at people. They live on a different planet, all right? Protect Our Postcode have actually gone out there, done something productive and positive, and a lot of people online are saying positive things about them. There are people saying negative things, but let's be honest, they're the people you're never going to win over. Donald Trump could cure cancer tomorrow and these people would still be upset by it. So ignore those people. What I'm hoping to kind of get across to people is there are a lot more people out there who probably agree with Protect Our Postcode than not. A lot of people may be non-political. This wasn't really a political stunt at all, but people are trying to make it so. It's a bunch of people who are concerned about something and they went out and did something about it. So my message to you is very simple. If you're in the Bournemouth area or surrounding areas, follow Protect Our Postcode. Go on their Instagram, on their Facebook post. Give them a like, give them a positive comment, and just let everyone know that you're on board with this as well. Because for so long, having a opinion like this would normally get you cancelled, called you a bigot, called you a racist, all that sort of nonsense stuff. No one cares anymore, all right? It's very important that you also go out there, be like me, be an armchair warrior if that's the best you can do, okay? But as long as you show everyone online, listen, I'm agreeing with this. I don't care what you call me. I think it's a good thing. You're going to find more and more people are going to be on that, are going to be empowered to say, yeah, we're no longer the silent majority. We need to be the loud majority, because unfortunately for far too long, we've had too many little wet wipes on the left telling everyone how to do things because they're just loud. All right. So yeah, if I can get any message across, please go online. If support post our postcode, protect our postcode, sorry, and just give whatever aid you can. And one last thing I just wanted to mention before we close this video off. Another positive thing that came out of this video, this action by these groups, is there are goats that live on the East Cliff. So now they're no longer in any jeopardy of you know what I mean. Otherwise, with that in mind, guys, thank you very much, and have a great day. Bye bye.